Okay, so I went ahead and I'm making a final video in our table series on how to put the materials in because I realized I sent y'all an email and said, go and do it yourself. And then when I did it on my own, I'm like, oh, there's a lot more steps than we probably remember because it's kind of back to when we were making carpets, like, I don't know, second week of school. So I'm going to kind of walk you through some of the steps of this because it turns out it's a lot easier if you make the material first before we edit and put it in here. One of the things to watch for too is I noticed when I played with mine, say for example, I had a wood table here, the lighting on it was really harsh so that it looked super bright. So right now, when you want to kind of look at it in realistic, you could have it here. If you find when you put stuff in that the lighting is really hard, bleeding things out of the color, you go up here to graphic display options. And what you want to do is click this tab where it says realistic and you want to put it on manual. And then you're going to slide this around as you look at your material finish to get it sort of to sort of the quality of lighting and saturation of color. So you'll see it sort of look more realistic. All right, and I'll play with that as I do mine. But for example, so I'm going to have two materials. So I'm going to show you how to do the two. I'm going to do a wood top and a kind of a metal finish leg. And one of the things I found is metal is rendering a little weird in here. So I was going to use the metal paint just so you can see sort of it really obviously. So I'm clicking on materials. And here's the default right here. I'll let the pictures load. It should be just a gray blob. So we're going to use that as our starting point. So we're going to right click on that and say duplicate. And I'm going to call this one wood top. So this is where I'm going to kind of add this information. So here under wood top, you need to have a highlighted blue like this. You're going to click on the material button, the library button down here. And in my case, I'm just going to type in wood. Whoops, wood. There you go. And in a minute, lots and lots of options are going to come up. I'm right here. I think I'm just in default, but I like this birch one, for example, or there's birch glossy. I think I'll go with birch semi-gloss. So I'm going to click on that, or hover so you can see it blue and see this little button here with the arrows. I'm going to click that. I can now close it. That's added that material to my wood top. So far it looks pretty good here, like kind of the pattern and stuff. Also, I want to click on graphics and click this button, use render appearance, meaning when I go to look at it in my model, it'll be there. So I say apply, and then I say okay. All right, so nothing yet. We haven't painted it basically on the table yet. Now I'm going to make my material for my table legs. So I'm going to hit materials. Again, I'm going to go to default, right click, say duplicate, and then I'm going to say table legs. And again, while I've got it blue and highlighted, I'm going to open up the materials library again. And this time I'm just going to type in metal. And all right, so for some reason when I used one of these guys, it didn't work. So I'm going to try now. We'll see if it works. But for some reason when I was looking at it on my screen, instead of red, it's coming in as like black almost. And I don't know how much of that is the lighting. So we'll do two. We'll kind of troubleshoot it together if it didn't work. So close that. There's that red. Under graphics, again, I want to click use render appearance, red, apply. And then it's taking a minute. Okay. All right. Now we basically got to paint it on these surfaces. So I'm going to click on just my tabletop. Down here where it says material by category, I'm going to hover there so I see three little dots. Click on that. And then I'm going to pick the wood top and say okay. And so far so good. For some reason this edge is black, but when I spin it around, it's okay. This is right away where I can see that this isn't quite what the picture looked like, right? It looks like it's overlit. So I'm going to go here to realistic, with just a little second box in here, go way up to graphic display options, pull this over so I can see it a little bit, click on open up the realistic tab there, and I have it on manual already, and I'm going to slide it a little bit over to darker, hit apply, and now it's looking a bit more like what I intended for the birch. So that's pretty good. All right, so we're going to leave that one there. I'm going to make it a little lighter later, but that's all right. Okay, so now we're going to do the legs. So if I control click each one, so I'm holding down my control tab. I'm left clicking on each leg. So I've got all three of them. And then, so you could paint them individually if you wanted like a different color leg for each a different color for each leg. Click on material over here, the 3 little dots, and now we're going to pick table legs. Let's see if this bugger works. See, they're coming in black. So what happens is if you go to consistent colors, they really are painted red. So all I can think of is something's off with the lighting that it's coming in such a dark color. So I'm going to do another one just so you can see. So if I click on it, it still says it's that table leg material. So if you don't like what you've created or it's not rendering great, don't stress yourself out. I just want to see that you can do 2 materials. So instead go up to manage materials, and I'll show you kind of a workaround to this one. So I'm going to click on default, right click, say duplicate, and I'm just going to call this table legs 2. So I'm going to take 2 on this. Okay. Down here, now if I type in metal, for some reason I found when I was playing around that the metal paint option actually works just fine. So if I wanted to paint it red, let's see if that works. So I'm going to click on that, click the little blue arrow right here to bring the asset over, close it down. Appearance, by all counts, everything looks red. We're going to hit graphics. We're going to say use render appearance. We'll say apply. We'll say okay. And now let's see if we can get a little bit better kind of rendering on this side of things. So instead of over here material for table legs, we're going to click on that 3 dots. Now we're going to click table legs 2 and say okay. Still black. Of course. So if you see realistic, oh wait, here it is. We'll do hidden consistent colors. It's red there. Weirdly, watch this because so much fun with Revit. We're going to click manage materials. Green works. So we're going to give this a different asset. Click on this, go to the library, and it's still up. Oh wait, no, it didn't. Let's see, metals, metal. Earlier today, the green worked. So paint, click the apple green instead. Say, close that. Click on graphics, make sure it's use render appearance, apply, okay. There they are green now. And let's see if they're realistic. Kind of green. I don't know. They're doing some weird shady stuff. So let's see if we can spin it around. Sort of like one side of it's doing green and it's not. So as you can see, this is just as frustrating to me as it is to you. So here's weird. As I spin around, kind of think of this like SketchUp. As I'm spinning around, it thinks it's being helpful by shadowing things. So all the legs really are all green. It's just when I look at it, let's see, from this default kind of corner view, for some reason it's putting in shading here and it's making this black, even though in reality the color really is green. So if we go back to over here where consistent colors, you can see it all is rendered correctly. There's just some lighting features going on when we look at this picture. So what I want you to do is you're going to send me your file so I can obviously see that you did this correctly. Another thing, if I want you to play with a little bit, is go up to, you're just going to save it as a JPEG. So all you do, so get it to where it's an angle where I can see your 2 materials just fine. And then we're going to go to File and Export. And you have to scroll down a little farther because there's more options down here. See the little tiny arrow right there? So I'm kind of hovering over that. There's images and animations. And then I can pick image. And then I can save it right here as a JPEG. So I'll just say, give it a name like that, like table picture or whatever, and say okay. And then it's going to send it to that folder as a JPEG. All right, so do your best with this. Again, it doesn't have to be a beautiful work of art. I just want to see that you were able to build the mechanics of this table and then paint in the material finishes. And 2 are fine. Don't make yourself crazy here. All right, thanks everybody. And again, if you have questions, it's okay to email me. I will answer them kind of as I can throughout the week. Thank you.